What up, Space Fam? Goes in here from Anime Outbreak, and I'm back at it again to discuss the latest and craziest developments in the One Piece story. And oh boy, was this chapter ever crazy. We are here to discuss none other than chapter 1049, called The World You Wish For. In this one, we got the exciting conclusion of the awakened Luffy versus the awakened Kaido fight. The end of Wano is finally here. It's insane stuff. We find out more juicy details about Kaido's backstory. Momo finally shows us what he's made of, and we get to find out what Luffy's great wish / goal is, which I really didn't think would be revealed so soon. So make sure to stay tuned for this epic legendary chapter that will most definitely go down in history and is arguably the biggest chapter ever. If you like seeing One Piece chapter reviews like this one on the channel and want to keep them coming, you know what to do. Smash that like button with no mercy until it explodes with fireworks. Fireworks that signify nothing less than Wano's newfound freedom. Be a smashing pirate king rather than a passing Orochi. If you haven't, make this the video you subscribe, and this is crucial. Hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications or you will miss future One Piece chapter reviews and updates. Now I want to thank Dislight for sponsoring this video. Are you as obsessed with badass mythical gods as I am? Then Dislight is the game for you. Dislight is the stylish urban mythological RPG you have longed for. Set in the near future with a stylish urban mythological theme, Dislight is a visually stunning story of heroes. You have god waifus like Valkyrie Bryn and just straight up badass gods like Anubis Drew, who must be the coolest butler I've ever seen. You build your epic team and fight enemies while enjoying the stunning audiovisual experience. I really got into the hype building soundtrack myself. The unique pop fantasy art style stands out, and I love all of the striking diverse character designs. All of them have individuality. Each character is derived from one of 4 mythologies, which have their own personality and style. I also really like the chill gameplay experience. You don't have to flip the phone back and forth between vertical and horizontal because this game is designed for a vertical screen. So what are you waiting for? Go through my link to support my channel right now and start your mythical journey with Dislight. Use promo code JOINDISLIGHT to get awesome limited awards. Now, without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. As mentioned, this chapter is called The World You Wish For, and it starts where we left off with the main event itself, the Luffy versus Kaido fight. We're talking Luffy's Gear 5 Monkey God Giant Fist attack versus Kaido's Awakened Flame Body. Kaido thinks Luffy will melt, but of course Luffy's haki training this arc will allow him to actually attack without physically touching Kaido and thus without getting burned. So watch out, Akainu or Akainu, however you want to say it. We're coming for you next. We're told this is a fierce haki clash. Who will prevail? I read this narrator note because it's setting this up as a battle or clash between 2 masters of haki. Pretty much meaning that if Luffy wins, he's really proven his mastery of haki to the point where it even outclasses a Yonko's. Very big stuff, and it makes me feel like we're probably closer to the end of One Piece than a lot of people realize. Hard to believe we're at the point where Luffy, our Luffy from the East Blue, is about to beat the living Yonko with the highest bounty. It's insane, absolutely insane to think about. Anyways, we see Luffy punching Kaido's open mouth. Kaido says well played, as Luffy is clearly focused, probably wincing from the heat of Kaido's flames and the force of his attack. Kaido actually looks like the one with the advantage at this point, because as Luffy looks worried and is wincing, Kaido's expression looks more like a calm smile. He says he has to hand it to Luffy for coming this far, but he also says Luffy will never be able to change the world. Then, as Kaido looks to be in the winning position, based on his calmness and ability to chit-chat in the middle of this, we jump to his flashback. I think we were all expecting the flashback eventually, and I even mentioned in the last chapter that if we jump into a flashback in this chapter, this probably will be the attack to finish Kaido off, because you know we need that backstory before Kaido actually gets defeated, and we get it here. We see a 10-year-old Kaido being called the strongest soldier around, and he clearly loved fighting, saying he's still itching for more. We're then told it's 46 years ago in the kingdom of vodka, a name which of course goes well with Kaido, who loves to do stuff associated with vodka. Kaido, who is now 59, was 13 years old at this point. We're told Vodka Kingdom has no choice but to wage war, since the loot they acquire is their only means of paying the celestial tribute. I like that the celestial dragons are brought into this because it positions Luffy and Kaido in a sort of similar position, where they're both enemies of the oppressing celestials who represent the lack of freedom. It suggests that Kaido could very well grow fond of Luffy and maybe even want to help him in his end goal of liberating the world from the Celestial Dragons and the world government. And even though Luffy hasn't ever perfectly verbalized it like that, it seems pretty clear that's where the whole Sun God Luffy thing is headed. But back to the backstory, and they say if we fail to pay the tribute, we stand to lose our standing in the world. Kaido says, why do Celestial Dragons get to boss them around? And then they just shut Kaido up for questioning the way things are. In this case, he's very reminiscent of a young Luffy in his straightforward, uncorrupted thinking. Then Kaido is betrayed. He's offered up to the Navy by his kingdom, who can't handle him. Kaido is already like over twice the size of the Navy men around him, who are trying to restrain him with chains. It's further revealed that the kingdom did it because in exchange for handing over such a strong dude, they'd be guaranteed a seat at the next reverie. Kaido resists, angrily saying he's not a political bargaining chip. Although it's obviously not cool what they did, in the kingdom's defense, they wanted, according to this, to enlist Kaido into the army. So it's not like they were sending him to his death or to live out his whole life in prison or anything like that. But Kaido started running away eventually and then became wanted. We're shown one wanted poster which states his bounty was 70 million at the time. Notably, that's more than Luffy's first bounty of 30 million after he beat Buggy, Don Krieg, and Arlong. It's clear that this capture followed by escape followed by capture and so on was a common occurrence. We see Marines being confused, saying they already caught him, did he really escape again? And I love this part. One says, I heard Kaido gets caught on purpose when he's hungry. And another says, a prison ship isn't a buffet. This is great legend building for Kaido, since even as a kid, he was so confident he could escape the Marines that he'd pretend to be captured to fill his hunger, knowing he could just escape again later. It helps explain why Kaido was caught so many times too. 44 years ago, we see a 15-year-old Kaido on Hachinosu, Blackbeard's current hangout. In this pirate's paradise, we see that Kaido just knocked out another pirate. People remark that he's so strong, and how can he only be 15? Then we see the legend himself, Whitebeard. Furthermore, this is 30-year-old Whitebeard, such a treat seeing him young and in perfect health in this flashback. He asks, and I'm guessing this is still 15-year-old Kaido, if he wants to be a pirate, and tells him that Rocks wants to meet him. We're told Kaido joined, and people thought the Rocks pirates were unstoppable now. After all, they had Rocks, a young Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido among many others. A part of me really wishes we saw why Kaido decided to join, but oh well, I'm glad we got this much. Guess Oda doesn't want to reveal too much about Rocks yet. They go to God Valley and we see the reaction of other pirates, shocked that the Rocks pirates have fallen, despite all the monsters they have on their crew. They heard a marine called Garp beat them. Imagine getting full credit for beating all of these legendary pirates. It's no wonder Garp is viewed as the hero of the Marines. Another pirate thinks, as I always thought personally, that their infighting did them in, since none of them were team players. That's the beauty of Luffy's crew. They're team players, and that will probably be emphasized as they go up against Blackbeard's crew, who were all brought in for their power, and as a result, in all likelihood, won't get along nearly as well. We even see a younger Big Mom screaming, "Don't mess with me, where did you go, Kaido?" This might be a nod to around when she saved him by giving him his OP fruit. God Valley was set to take place 38 years ago, when Kaido was 21 years old. The layout of the manga panels in this chapter suggests Kaido might have joined the Rocks Pirates, as I mentioned, at 15 years old, which would mean he was with them for a significant 6 years. Those must have been some crazy years that I want to know all about at some point. Then 10 years after that incident, by which I assume they mean 10 years after God Valley, or when Kaido is 31, he runs into Kurozumi Higurashi. She tells him that since that incident, Kaido is now known as the embodiment of brutality. He has his crew, and King is already there as his first mate. She tells him if you study history, humans have always resorted to brutality, aka cruel and violent behavior to solve the world's problems. It's then pointed out that humans are just like any other animal. Survival of the fittest is our nature. Kaido says he couldn't agree more, and now he has his facial hair. It's said from now on everything will revolve around the former members of the Rocks crew, and truly 3 out of 4 of the Yonko were from the Rocks Pirates, and each of them definitely had a huge influence on the world. Higurashi says weapons shape the world they live in, and with that in mind, she has a proposition for Kaido. So the implication is that now the whole Wano weapons factory stuff will be brought up, showing how truly horrible the Kurozumi have been for Wano. I mean, we already knew that, but this is just laying it on even thicker. We see Kaido saying, let's show all those peace-loving nobles the reality of war, which seems to echo back to his childhood and how he resented the fact that the celestial dragons had power to boss his kingdom around. He says one's worth can only be determined in battle, where everyone is equal and anarchy reigns free. So even though this is a pretty basic and flawed philosophy for an antagonist to have, that only battle prowess is valuable, despite the fact that you can obviously be valuable for cooking, navigating, and so on, it's still interesting how even within this warped worldview, Kaido's yearning for equality is coming through. He loves battle because everyone is equal. It doesn't matter if celestial dragons are high status. If he can beat them in a fight, then he's the better one. We see Kaido and King talking. Kaido says Yamato mentioned Joy Boy, and King says Oden wanted to open Wano to welcome Joy Boy. We know King was waiting for Joy Boy, and that he even thought Kaido was Joy Boy at one point. Kaido tells King that he knows who Joy Boy and the man King is waiting for are. Then we jump back to the present. We get a shot of the clash between Kaido and Luffy, but also a CP0 getting away ASAP, reminding us that the Marines may be coming into play soon. We see Yamato and Momo screams for flame clouds to come forth. We see more shots of people celebrating at the festival below. Inside Onigashima, we see a quick shot of Kid, Oda really emphasizing this future Yonko lately. We then jump to Raizo saying the water of Zo will save everyone, and in a bit of a contrast to that, we see everyone getting snatched up by the water or having to deal with it in some way. It starts falling off the island. We see many characters, including a love-struck Sanji and Hiyori and Denjiro. This is a very powerful scene, and Denjiro is hugging her, saying she's done really well to have endured everything for so many moons. She's shown crying and gripping him. Like I said, a really powerful moment since we know it's been a long and difficult journey for Hiyori. And after so long of keeping it all in, she can finally let it all out. We also see Orochi's burning head, and I'm thinking, what are you doing, Oda, showing us that? Can't you just stop showing Orochi? Please don't tell me he's still not finished. I feel like he should have at least shown half of the head evaporating, but no, it is still a full head. We'll see what happens with that, but Oda, please don't bring back Orochi again. And then props to everyone who saw it coming, the water seemingly extinguishes Kaido's flame clouds, and so Momo doesn't have the luxury to waste any more time. We jump back to Luffy's giant fist in Kaido's dragon mouth. Kaido asks him what kind of world Luffy wishes to make, and we see Luffy's face, which is clearly in anguish. Again, Kaido talking, Luffy in pain. It's like Oda purposely wants us to think that Kaido is in a better position in this exchange, but as we'll soon find out, that's only so Oda can reverse our expectations in the last moment and give us that oh so satisfying victory. But for now, Momo finally succeeds in summoning the flame clouds to Yamato's surprise. Back to Luffy, we see that Luffy's giant fist is not, in fact, coming to contact with Kaido, and he finally talks back. Luffy says he wishes for a world where his friends can eat as much as they like. It's big for Luffy to reveal this, and for me now, it's all the more likely that at the end of the story, he'll really want to have this all-you-can-eat bash with all of his friends that he made along the way. And since we know Kaido loves to eat, maybe he'll be invited. But now, Oda is no longer teasing us, and Luffy starts overpowering Kaido. Luffy wins the exchange, and Kaido is sent flying to the ground. Kaido remembers the flashback with King for a second, and how he told him that Joy Boy will be the man who will be able to beat Kaido one day. King smiles and says if that's true, he doesn't think Joy Boy will ever appear. But of course, we know Luffy is Joy Boy, and he did appear, and all of this backstory stuff pretty much guarantees that Luffy just won, for real. Luffy really just beat the man called the strongest creature in the world, and the Yonko with the highest bounty on his own. Wow, this is so crazy. As if to further confirm the victory, we see some floating lanterns, just as we did before Orochi was taken down, saying please vanquish the scary dragon, restore the Kozuki clan. We see both Momo and Luffy tuckered out, and the narrator says 20 years in the making, as if to further solidify Luffy's win here. The only thing we're missing is the box saying Luffy won, but that could well come in the following chapter as it's done before. This fight was already long. I think it's safe to say with the flashback and all the other conventions that it's really over. The Wano arc after so many chapters is pretty much over as well, only some epilogue stuff to wrap up. We're told we will be on break next week, but what an amazing chapter to leave off on. I think this epicness can easily hold us until 2 weeks from now. I am so grateful to Oda for this amazing chapter, for this amazing journey in general. It's truly still unreal to me how far we've come. Let me know what you thought of this epic chapter in the comments. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. Set the fireworks off to celebrate this insane victory, to celebrate Wano's liberation. People, we are in a brand new era of One Piece right now, so be a smashing Pirate King and not a passing Orochi. Join the Nakama if you haven't by hitting that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications, or you will miss future One Piece videos and updates. And while you wait for the next chapter to drop, check out my growing One Piece playlist that includes videos on all the Yonko, Warlords, Admirals, Mythical Zones, and much more. Link to that is in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.